Hello, how you doing? I hope you are doing amazing. In whatever part of the world that you are listening to me today, it is a free service day. For whoever joins live, I will be doing readings or healing. I can read the aura. We can access the Akashic records, or we can just ask your guides. I'm due. Hey Shell, thank you so much for being here. Can you let me know if the sound is okay? Because I have a new microphone and I am still learning to use it. But if the sound is okay, I think I would like to give a few minutes so people know that I'm alive and to set your intentions. Please let me know where you are listening from. Thank you. And I think I will start with a little bit of light language. Sound is fine? Yes. Thank you so much. I always burn my electronics, so I have to be purchasing microphones every month or two, I think. My iPad, my computer, and normally you guys will hear like a background sound in the meditations, kind of like static or something like that, but it's normally the frequency that comes through that it appears to be like. Sometimes it may sound like a buzzing or like metallic sound or like changing radio station, especially when we channel galactics. I always hear, wow, how amazing. I always hear that type of sounds. And give me a second, let me see if I'm appear live here on the page so I can check on your questions. How are you guys handling? Thank you so much. I appreciate your support with the stars. Thank you so much. I use that money to purchase the things that I need for the page, sometimes to pay for the recordings that I do, because I'm not good with editing, and I would like to purchase a professional microphone because I'm working on meditations that are going to be to induce the sleep. This is what is going to come next. I have the tendency to make people to fall asleep, especially in sessions. I kind of see them like that. So it's kind of something that I do. But I think today I would like to start with light language while you guys set your intentions. And I think it's all good in my side. Any specific is it someone that you would like me to do? I'm gonna use this little. Is the sound still okay on your side? I'm gonna wait for confirmation. But if the sound is still okay, yes. If the sound is okay, please type a heart. Okay, great. I'm gonna start with a little bit of light language, just 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm gonna clear the field because I wanna do a healing. Normal sessions are always healing. And I'm gonna bring Pleiadians today. Pleiadians are normally recognized because they have a very angelic frequency. They tend to work with the heart chakra, specifically when they are humans. It is a person who it is all about love, how to share love, how to give love, And in Pleiadians, what I have seen through the Akashic records, it is they were very much open to everything that will make you happy and loving and joyful without harming anyone and respecting everyone else's boundaries. They were like very open-minded civilization. And normally when we are in human form and you have Pleiadian roots, you are going to have that tendency to go into the love, the kind, the sensitivity, the gentleness. And this is what I think my cat, I would like to bring today, just like for 10 minutes, so I clear the field. If you guys have anything that you would like to receive, any healing, any intentions, when you channel Pleiadians, normally it is the ascended one, so they're going to be very loving, very kind, and the energy is going to feel predominantly feminine, at least the ones that I connect with. So let's start with that. Meanwhile, at the end, I'm gonna read your comments, I'm gonna do your questions, and then just we'll go with the flow, okay? I know it has been challenging times. Today we end the Mercury retrograde, but October, because it's influenced by Scorpio, and Scorpio signs are normally very strong and intense in their own polarities. They could be very bad and mean or very good and kind. So this is, I think, collectively what we are all experiencing in general, depending, of course, in your own energy, depending, of course, in the rest of the moons and the ascendants and all the other planets. But in the overall, we're all trying to find balance. The Libra season just ended, and then now polarities are going to be a little bit more visible. What triggers me, what I would like to change, what I can handle, what stress me out, and at the same time, what I want to create. And then we are in preparation for the 11/11 gateway that is going to start in November 11. That gateway is going to be all about myself and my higher guidance. 11/11 could be me and my twin, it could be me and my higher self, me and my ascended aspect, whatever I would like to mirror in the other end, because 11/11 represents the mirror. I hope that makes sense. So this is the gateway that is going to be open in a few days. Meanwhile, we have solar storms, magnetic storms. The cosmic frequencies are really being downloaded a higher plasmic light into all of us. Many of us are feeling moody, drained, cannot sleep, a lot of changes, and it is because the galactics are downloading that plasmic light through the ones that we already have them right here, through the ones that we connect with them to contactees, to meditation, to dream state, to astral travel, and we are anchoring that higher light in the physical and then downloading into Gaia when we ground for the rest of humanity to awaken. But at the same time, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, they receive this new codification that we are all being how do I say that? I mean, receive. I think we are all receiving. The side effect is a good side effect, guys. I know sometimes it represents a struggle. I'm not immune to all of those things. I feel it. A lot of people, it's at the same time we have the influence of Pluto, and Pluto represents death. But that could be a good thing because it could represent closing a cycle so we can open ourselves for something better. Maybe I'm gonna change my home, maybe I'm gonna change my job, maybe I'm gonna change my partner, maybe I'm going to change the profession. Whatever we are changing to change timeline and the winter solstice that is going to be in December 21, we are in preparation for that. So don't give up. Whatever you are doing, whatever is happening to you, it is enough. And this is what the Pleiadians are saying. They look like blue, pink, and purple. This is what I have. So I'm going to allow them to speak through me like 10 minutes. Meanwhile, questions that you would like for them, questions about the collective, questions for yourself, type your questions in. The more specific is a question, the better it is for me to give the most accurate answer that I can translate. And after that, we will just go with the flow, okay? Let's begin. This energy is very loving. You guys are going to love it. Welcome, beings of the light. We thank each of you to join us in this Pleiadian transmission. Please open your hearts and ask your own higher self and guides and your own Pleiadian family to assist you. And as you visualize a spark of light in your own heart, that spark is going to be the connection with the higher realms. We are honored to be here, and we're grateful that you have opened yourself today for all of us. So prepare yourself to receive your own unique transmission. The more relaxed you are, the more you breathe light in, and as you exhale, release the density and allow all your muscles to relax the stress, the more benefit you will receive. I am Kai, the one who is speaking on behalf of this healing circle. Now imagine a beautiful golden column of light stepping just above your heads, and beams of light all around you. Ni ete eke eshka, ti iseko iki eshka, ti maiki ina. Beams of light from the universe are here to offer support. This energy is love. Gentle is soft. Invite the energy in. This light is soft and comforting, just as a feather, and soothing. It's like a beautiful, shining star, and it can be the bridge for you to bring the galaxy in. And now that you invite your very own Pleiadian guides to join you, infinite intelligence, we invoke you today to download unconditional love, only from the highest vibration for each of you and the benefit of all. Ela ne te esa ake eshka, mi ini ite eke esako iki ina. Ela me ite eke eshka. Niana ete isako maaki ishka. Mi ene ete iki isako. Iki ite aka ase ke eke ishka. Mi ene ete isako. Just enjoy the energy. Your own golden column of night. Ni ala alianto hala lese ki ikiada. Lahama alia te eseko iki ishka. Hala lale seko ti ishka tiku soma ikiana. Sintia na koromare ela asa kore aleki ikiara koromare ki eseki ishka. La ni ela asa ko iki ishka. Now imagine that your own golden column of light is like an elevator. You can see it in your mind. It can serve you to go up, up, up as you press your bottom. And as you ascend, up, 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 it's going to feel like getting higher and higher and higher. And you are up, up, up in the atmosphere, in your own column of light, with your Pleiadian guides, full of love. The universe hug you, and you keep going up, up, up. Bright lights shine in the sky with all the stars, and you can see that your elevator become a spaceship, a craft made of light, and you are traveling to the universe. You can imagine the galaxies, the planets, the sun, the blinking stars, and all the starlight and the stardust. It just feels so spacious. Alontia la neeseke ishta. Iki ite karo mareki iseko iki ishka. Anti o alonti aka aseko iki ishka. Mi ina ite iseko iki ishka. You are journeying to Alkion now. Allah leki Allah oso la ake Allah eki ishka. Allah maiki ashka. Be open. When your craft of light stop, you can step out. And it's a beautiful place, like made in a fantasy movie. It's a beautiful planet, exquisite, illuminated, a paradise, all with blue, pinks, purple, and white lights. And you can feel these effluvia frequencies, the waves of frequency in your heart and all around you. And your Pleiadian guide today come to greet you is going to place his own forehead in your forehead, his own hands in your hands, and is going to transmit a message of love just for you, shining in the sky. Are you ready to receive it, dear fellow human? Feel the reflection of you in this ascended image in the galaxy, and open your heart, open to receive. Ale Allah la kolate Allah aseko oke Allah, e Allah me eke ishka, mi iti eke ishka, mi iti iki isako ate ella aseko iki ishka. Allah ite iki isako iki ishka. Mi iti iki isa okoma. E Allah le Allah mahale asako ri ate iki ishka. Feel your heart now. Tion tia wa ale eseki ite iki ishka. No ansio tia la le ala se ki eshka. La le ese kodi ete eke eshka te ese koi ki ana. And let this light language, that is a multidimensional expression of the light, to speak to you now. Your heart is feeling beautiful, soft, and gentle frequencies, like the first time you recognize love. Ni ete eke esa kore iki ne ki amare kera seroko oshka. La 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 esa ko ate eke ela kore oko oshka te ese kola aki iki ana. Right now is the moment for you to release all the sadness, the anger, the pain, the wound, the traumas, the negativity, your frustration out of your aura. Ni na ete ese kore eke eshka. As you bathe yourself into the light, ala le ete ese kore iki ala ese kore eke eshka. We ask and thank you to release all that pain and density and to let go. Give it away. And as you do that, come back slowly, slowly, slowly and gently, all the way back into your craft light, all the way back into your spacecraft. Ni ete eke eshka te koro oke esa, spinning all around the galaxy. Ni ete esa ko ola ake eshka, ti ise kore eke eshka. And now your spacecraft is going to land on your space. And as you do, we're going to feel hug, protected, love, and lighter, lighter as a feather. We're going to ask you to stay in your heart and leave this connection open while each of you receive guidance. We're going to remain here. We're going to speak through the vessel, through your own intuition and through your own thinking and feelings. You will hear our voice. We're going to count from 5 to 1, so you ground yourself into the present moment. You can now just feel the presence of your guides. 5. Feel the awareness into your body. 4. Feel the back of your head, your back, your backlog, your legs, your feet touching the ground. 3. Make sure you are grounded into your reality. 3. The energy around you change. It's lighter, balanced, loving and kind. We're going to count to 1 and you can slowly open your eyes. 0. We bless you. I am Kai. Thank you. That was good. That was good. Very, very good. It was very loving. Gonna give guys a few minutes to thank you. Appreciate the stars. Thank you so much. I'm still high, but I'm going to remain high so the messages that come are the most accurate and pure without me interfering. I'm going to try to read your comments. I hope you like it. Please share with me what did you felt. Pleiadians is my family. I spent many lifetimes there. I think I would say I am Syrian and Pleiadian, like half and half. I have Arcturian. I have Andromedan. I have lives in Mars. I have lives in Orion. Oh my God, in Orion. The majority of my family comes from Orion. I think the majority of the things that I'm healing this life, they happen in Orion. But it's good. It's good because each galactic being, it is like a piece of us. I hope that makes sense. They represent an archetype. My Pleiadian guy, it is the kind, the loving one, the one who easily forgive, the one who teaches. The Syrian aspect of me is the one who is the artist, who is the free, the joyful, the one who shares the codes. I think the Larian aspect of me is the one who makes me strong and a survivor and stubborn at the same time. And the Orion one, it is a part of me that it is a giver. I like to give. I'm happy giving. It's who I am. And sometimes that being a little bit of naive or innocent, childish, my guide said, the way that I am, it's make me who I am. And I learned that in Orion because it was a lot of bad things happening around that somehow you had to stay into your light. And this is something that Orion people have. They are normally good givers. So I think each guide we have, galactics or humans, ancestors, represent a piece of our personality, a piece of our soul. Whether you call that your twin flame, your guardian angel, your fairy guide, your galactic. This is what I think guides are. They are fragments of our soul from another time, from another space, that represent something. Even our shadows, even our entities. Probably our entities are the stubborn part of us, or the wounded aspect that we have, or the sad part. Nothing it is outside of us. Everything comes from here, and then from here it is expressed in different forms, and that includes the humans that we have around. Everything is a reflection of everything. That's why I think it's so important. It's something that I'm trying to practice in my life, trying to be kind and loving with myself, but also with everyone, because when I'm not loving with another person, I am not loving with myself, because that person is a reflection of me. So instead of blaming others for whatever I feel triggered or wounded or sad or anything that I may feel, I tend to go within and said, okay, no worries, no big deal. I'm going to hold the space in love for both of us to match the highest capacity we can hold and balance that we can. And this is something that I am practicing. And I think this is part of being a true light worker. It's not because I'm doing lives, it's not because I do light language. It is the capacity that I have to feel peace when it's fighting around me, the capacity that I have to bring positivity when everything goes wrong. I hope that makes sense. So today I invite each of you to do your best. If you don't feel ready to forgive or whatever, it's okay, probably tomorrow. Sometimes we force ourselves to go into what we live, but when we let go and trust that our guides, our higher self knows best, and we allow the guidance, the support from the universe, things go like a piece of cake. Very, very easier. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me go with your comments. I'm gonna drink a little bit of water. Nelia, Sandra, Mirel, Shio, appreciate so much. God bless you guys for the support. Let me see. You guys can type your questions. If you have questions from the Pleiadians, I still have them. I feel that. Appreciate you. Ah, thank you. Bryce says that she's gonna start working. Couple of patients. Is it the new beginning for your spiritual life? Yes, it is. We can do good where we are in our jobs by probably being a peacemaking in my office, or probably being something joyful that will elevate the mood of the others. We can do goodness doing normal stuff. And actually, I think the ultimate goal about spirituality and bringing new earth into this reality, it is staying in the light no matter what, but at the same time, staying in the light, it can be contagious for others. So others can feel inspired to also be in their light. Like, for example, when you enter a place and people is laughing and you don't know what they are laughing, but you started laughing too, and then you ask, why are you guys laughing? This is how emotions are sorry this is how emotions get spread, balanced emotions and distorted emotions too. If someone is crying all over the place and you enter that place, you're gonna feel that sadness too. And this is in those moments when we need to bring the light. It's not about, no, I can talk to you, you are sad, you're gonna intoxicate my aura. It's not about that. It's about hold the space with love, understanding that we all have those days, and then bring light into your heart, then rub light into the other person. And sometimes we don't need to give any advice or anything. Sometimes just our own presence, it's enough for whoever is in need, that feels weak in its light, to recharge. I hope that makes sense. And this is what I'm trying to practice. Shio, can you send healing for everyone here? Of course, I am sending healing. I always do for whoever decides to be here when I am live or watch the videos later or rewatch it. I always program Reiki if it is for the highest good and if it is for that person best choice to receive, that you guys can receive something. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Appreciate that. Luciana, let me see. Okay, Alana, thank you so much for being here. Let me read her comment. She said that she felt the energy in her hands, concentrated. That's good. Bubble purple. It's how they look to me. They look like shades, like humanoid shades of light. Sandra, I'm Pleiadian. I'm going through illnesses, so many pains. Who are your guides? Okay, I can tune into them. If you do a Pleiadian meditation later, you are going to receive a healing, Sandra. If you want to, I can coordinate that. And then the rest of the video you will receive. Look, Pleiadians, when they are in human form, they have a tendency to have problems in their throat chakra, or sometimes in the heart chakra, or sometimes in the sacral chakra. Yes, it's something that is common in humans who have had lifetimes in Pleiadians, because we have the most influence from Pleiadians. They are the ones that we look alike the most, physically, emotionally. Some people tend to say that we all have a Pleiadian lifetime, at least one. They are kind of like our fathers. Even though Syrians and Arcturians and Lyras, they all see DNA, they were kind of like the best match biologically for us. So they give us like a bigger percentage, even though many other galactics came to give us percentage at the beginning of humans like the Anunnaki, the Reptilians too, the Orions too. So we all have a little bit of everything of them. I do think in the Bible when they say that God created man, it was because the galactics modify probably the chimpanzees so they could upgrade the human evolution, and then the first human they made, it was a male, and that it was Adam. And then believe it or not, even though men will not like this, but the upgrade, it was the female version of it. That's why we have like a creation center, and it's not because they had defects or anything, it was like an improvement. So at the galactic level, and this is something that it has came from the Akashic records from Lara and from Lemuria. Many of the stories from the Bible, I think they're metaphors for what happened in Atlantis or in Lemuria. At least this is something that I'm learning in the Akashic records. So we have been upgraded and upgraded and upgraded since that time. And I think a major upgrade is going to happen. That's why we have pandemic and a lot of people have like physical issues because our carbon-based vessel is going to be transformed into a crystalline one so we can ascend. I hope that makes sense. But if you meditate with your guys, going back to Sandra, they're going to do a healing on you. And Pleiadian, I'm seeing 3. I'm seeing like a blue, very, very alien humanoid. And I'm seeing like a couple. I think they are, Sandra, your first parents in Pleiades. And they are already like in source. They look like olive skin, gorgeous, like a beautiful, aesthetic, good-looking human. They have like brown hair, kind of like brunette style, like yellow eyes, beautiful, beautiful skin. The skin is completely glowing, and they don't look like the Nordic Pleiadian type. They look more like Greek type, probably. Yes. Like white and dark hair, kind of like Roman style. Italian, probably a little bit like that. Yes. And you can call her Tina and Luca, him. Yes. Okay. 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 The energy is so high. And I hope you resonate with that. Let me see who else asked. Joy Allen, is my higher self still in Pleiades? Look, Joy, I'm going to try to explain the best way that I can understand. Look, higher self is not an entity, and I learned this by doing all the drawings of the higher self because it was how I started making the drawings. The higher self, it is the CEO of your own oversoul, right? It is the manager of every soul aspect you have. It's not a male or a female or an angel. It's just, how do I say that? Like a technology. Like, for example, the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is not the cell phone or the computer or the smartphone or the smart TV. The Wi-Fi, it is the network where we can connect the laptop, the cell phone, or the TV into Wi-Fi so we can stream something, right? So each soul aspect, it will be the technological device that you connect into the web. And then the higher self, it will be the web. Does that make sense? But each aspect will have its own unique version of what the higher self will be. Yes? But they are all one and the same, because higher self is omniscient and omnipresent, and they can multiply like in different versions like angels. So probably the higher self that you have is Pleidian, but you will have a higher self. Yes, it's part of the oversoul. That's an excellent question, Natalie. You will have an earth higher self, and that will be the primordial higher self you should connect with, because it is the expert on the lives you have had here, the collective, all the things. It is like if, let's say, that you work in a company and you have a manager in your company, but you don't talk to your manager because you don't know him. You talk to another, on Spanish it will be sucursal. I don't know how to say it in English. Okay, another part of the same company that is in another country. Does that make sense? Like, instead of contacting with your own manager, you contact the one that it is in Europe, let's say, because I don't know. And it's a good thing, because you can have, as you ascend in your oversoul, you can have as many higher selves, because we uncover more and more and more higher aspects. So it never ends, because it's all reflection, the reflection, the reflection, the reflection, the reflection. But what I understand in my own capacity, it is higher self is going to show into the highest aspect you're able to contact with, the one that is going to serve you the most. Like, for example, for me, when I started in Encoded frequency, my higher self looked like Merlin, like Melchizedek, like wizardy, druid, kind of like old man. And then it changed, and then it looked kind of like Hebrew thing. And then he said that I could call him Elijah. So I was naming him Elijah for a while. And then I think 2 years ago shift, and now it looks like a lion with men suit, but with a face of a lion. And probably is going to change in the future as I change and as I go deeper into my life. New information comes out, new connections, new things. Sometimes your Akashic records is going to change, not because you are a walking or something. In a way, I think we're all walkings, because every time you upgrade your soul and you do a very drastic change, your personality sort of change. So a new soul of you come to merge with you. I hope that makes sense. This is my own unique approach, but I'm not into many of those things. I don't listen to channelers on YouTube or predictions or anything, because I feel like I'm going to be contaminated. So I just want my own experience and what I can understand. The oversoul, however, this is what I understand, because I have been seeing questions about this. Look, guys, the oversoul begins, look, soul, okay, source is all that it is, right? This is the way that I understand. No division, no nothing, it's just pure light. Light that has dark and light and love and fear and everything, because creator of all. However, at the level of source, there is no darkness or light, because it's only neutrality, because everything can be, because it's creation, right? Like, for example, when mom and dad get together and make love, that is creation. It could be anything. It could be a boy, it could be a girl, it could look like the grandmother, like the aunt, all kinds of colors, because it's just like a probability of for whatever that can come through, right? Probably in the future we could choose what we want to, but right now I think the majority is just kind of like a lottery thing, like let's see what comes through. And this is kind of like the same way source and creation works that I can understand. So source wanted to understand itself and decided to separate itself in fragments. This is what I am writing about this in a book. because source is more like light in motion. The change, transform, and it could be everything. It never stops. It keeps creating and creating and creating. But in order for us to understand, like when you resolve a mathematic problem, sometimes you have to disassemble or separate the equation for us to understand. Okay, the x plus 4, it's equal to 12. Then this x is going to be 8, right? But otherwise, it's like, okay, what's going on? So this is kind of what source did. It separated itself and separated itself and separated itself. So we are all one. This is what I believe, that we are all one, because we are all reflections of the same source. Even the ones that I don't like the presidents and the people who triggers me or whatever, they are also my brothers and sisters, because we all come from the same source. If you and I would do a DNA test, we will have 98.5 similarities. But guess what? That same 98.5, it will be with plants and animals and every living thing in this planet, because we are all made of the same ingredients, the same chemistry. But that 1% makes a whole lot of difference, isn't it? So we are more similar than different. And that is going to include our brothers and sisters of the galaxy, including reptilians and dragos and greys and Pleiadians, because we all come from the same source. We are just different expressions of the same thing. Like if you go to Starbucks, there are a million types of coffee, but it's all the same coffee. But you can call it macchiato, you can call it latte, you can call it cappuccino, you can call it American coffee, right? But it's all the same. But the presentation, it's different. And that, it's a lot. So my presentation, for example, in human form is completely different than the Pleiadian one, because the Pleiadian one has access to different things that I cannot understand in human form, but we are connected. And that happens with the shadow aspects and with the light aspects. But what is important, I think, it is neutrality, balance. When we're able to integrate the darkness and the light into equanimity, into harmony. So the oversoul, it is the way the light, the souls organize themselves in order to understand its own experience. For example, it's just like, okay, I'm source, but how it is that I am God? What happened? So I am God. So I am all that it is. What happened? So I am Archangel Michael. What happened? That I am Mother Mary. So it was kind of like a journey going back to understand and to remember each moment in time to understand the whole. So every time I split from source, I'm going to have a journey and I'm going to choose my illusion. And my illusion is going to be that I was born in Mexico, that my name is Gretel, that I have a brother named Hansel, for example. But other aspect of me, the one that he was born in Egypt, she has another personality, she has another higher self, another guise, but it's just the same presentation. Like, for example, chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream. It's all ice cream, but it looks, tastes different. Yes? Does that make sense? So the higher self is going to look, guys are going to look, galactics are going to look into what thing it could help you the most, because they are you. Imagine if you had all answers. Wouldn't you want to share it with your own family? Hey guys, if you do this, you're gonna be rich, right? You just want to give the assistance. That's why they come, because they are us and we are them. And we are the shadow aspects and the light aspects. But at the level of source, they all work together, because the darkness, it is what makes us to change direction, to learn how. Imagine in source, I think it will be kinda like zero emotion, just all like ecstasy and blissful sensation, because you are connected to the source. Like, for example, if you already have eaten and someone offers you your favorite food, you say, oh no, thank you, I just eat, I'm full, because you don't need to eat because you are already full. So being in source or ascended is being full. You don't need to have any lack because you have it within. We all have it, but we have the illusion that we don't have it, so we understand what it feels like. Does that make sense? Like, for example, imagine if we would have no senses. If I cannot see, how can I admire the sunrise or the sunset or the ocean or my face? If I can taste, eating, it will be boring because it's just like, it doesn't have taste, it doesn't have smell, it doesn't have the feeling. That feeling, it is the journey of the soul. And our thinking, our feelings, it is the information that the feeling gather for the Akashic records to be organized in OverSoul, in dimensions, in expressions. So everything is an illusion inside of an illusion, like Russian dolls inside of an illusion. And you guys and I are making the most important job of all, because we are in separation, sharing wisdom, feedback into the ascended dimensions about what it's like to be afraid, what it's like to have anxiety, what it's like to have broken heart, what it's like to feel not abundant, to feel blocked. So they will understand, and then they will come to us, and then they will share wisdom. So it's all one and the same, kind of like a circle of, yes, actually, they are grateful. Sometimes in sessions, guys just bow like it's an honor because you experience suffering and I don't. But in the duality or polarity, we complete the equation, so source knows what else to create in the multi-universe. Does that make sense? I had a dream. I forgot your questions. I'm gonna go back to your questions, but I had a dream once, I think it was like 3 years ago. I was in Andromeda and it was like a theater. We had like spotlights on, and we were humans, I think like six, sitting in the platform, and we were being interviewed. And these Andromedans look kind of like, do you remember the style of the like the Hunger Games people, like very extravagant and exotic? This is how they look to me. They look like human, but like drag queen or something. I was just like, oh, that's a very intense way to dress yourself, right? So those souls have not ever incarnated outside of Andromeda. They have never been in a lower expression. They had no recollection about how it would be to be outside of their own source connection. So they were asking us questions. So, okay, so if you see a scary movie, do you feel fear? But do you know it's an illusion? Do you know it's not real? They were saying to me. And then I remember that I was saying, yes, I know it's not real, but I just feel the emotions through the movie. And then I feel like they're mine, and then I mirror myself, and then I can cry or feel afraid or anything. And they were like, oh, that's interesting. And then when I wake up, I figure it out that we teach them. Sometimes we think we are little and they are powerful, but it's not about that. We all have an important piece of the puzzle that makes the whole that it is source. Sometimes we need to label things so we can understand them. Like, for example, okay, disclosure is going to be in 2026. It was predicted and by a very important person, and it's going to be like that. Yes, if that person saw it and predicted, it is in their reality, but it may not be in yours because we all create our own universe. Does that make sense? every day when we wake up, we download the information, the illusion we want to live. So if someone was mean to us, it was part of the lesson that what we request darkness or shadow to come into our reality, so we could learn probably to set boundaries or to self-love or to be stubborn or to keep the balance. And it's not about what happened, it's about how we embrace it. And this is the ultimate reason why you and I wake up. So we are happy, so we feel better, so we understand things like who I am, where I'm going, what I want to do, what I want to be. It's not about if you do light language or mindfulness. It's about being in your own synchronicity, being in your own light. And yes, a lot of things are happening in the collective. Yes, sometimes they should not happen. The majority of them, they should not. But this is why you and I are here for, to create the change. But that change will start right here. In the capacity that I have to let go, to forgive, to see that it's a greater power working for you and I, and it is in divine order. It is. The fact that I can't understand it or the fact that I cannot see it, it does not mean that it's not working. Yes, I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna go with your question, sorry. That's an excellent question. Natalie says, so you can call on the higher self. Yes, every day. I am where I am because of my higher self. Every day, signs. 4 years ago, I tell my higher self at least one a day, please take command. But especially when I don't know what to do, when people hurt me, that I feel betrayed, that I feel lied, that I feel probably not enough or a block or sad. It is in those moments when I say, please take command, higher self, because I'm losing myself. I don't know what to do. So it's the best thing you guys can do. A simple way, just said, please take command. Please assist. Angels come. Whoever you trust. Whoever you trust. But yes, please do. Yes. I bet that is that. Look, higher selves will have an essence, yes. Sometimes higher selves will be mediators for the Council of Light. Sometimes they're going to be archangelic. Sometimes they're going to feel galactic. Sometimes they're going to be part of the Elders of Earth, Council of Atlantis. They have their own job, including guides. But it's not like a job like you and I probably have. It's more like a frequency they tune into. In whatever job higher self has, that is just coming through, I didn't know, is aligned with the goals of our soul family. Like, for example, my soul family, we are all artistic. Some people sing, some people do music, some people draw, some people do dancing, but we all do without even study. It's just like a piece of cake. Oh, I just know how to do that because it is in my soul. So this is the mission of my oversoul, but we all do it in different ways. I am probably the most weird one because of what I do. Some people don't even do it unless like a hobby or thing. So it is all expressions of the same thing, but I'm gonna have my own missions and they will have other missions. But the higher self has the knowledge about all the missions, all the purposes, all the destinies, the one who can upgrade, rearrange contracts, karmic, all things. Sometimes we choose to have a karmic timeline because it's a service for our own family. And at the soul family, because I remember this in my troubles, we don't have wound or pain or anything. Sometimes someone can do very bad to you in the physical, and then I can see myself in the dream, and then we're just laughing with guys. And the other day I said like, what the fuck? I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt in the dream because my soul is whole, is connected. The human version feels hurt, feels wounded, but because I am separated from the whole. But when I am whole, we don't have all those things because all those things is part of the illusion. Sandra asks, can we directly ask higher self to heal, help us? Of course. Not talking to higher self or not talking to Gaia is like going to work and not talking to your employees. How in the world you are going to know what to do? And you are trying to figure out by yourself, but you don't know about the meetings, the new projects, the new things that are happening. That's why it's important to ground here because Gaia creates the illusion for us. Yes, I hope that makes sense. Every day I encourage every day to connect with your higher self. I don't think higher selves have name. They have frequency, but they give us names so we can relate to them. If you want to call them Pedro, Maria, John, whatever, put a name on your higher self and then relate to higher self. Higher self, please be with me, angels or Shiva or whoever you believe, because they are us and their job it is to shine light on us so we can have the experience, kind of like in university, and then they gather the information we provide, and that goes, guess what, to the Akashic records. So the Akashic records represents our legacy, what I have done. All the times I have been feeling like messed up, crying all over the place, it is there. But it is there because it serves other souls in my oversoul, probably not to do my mistakes, probably to choose something different. This is why we do all of those things, because it's all connected. It's all one and the same. But we forgot, and when we forgot, it's a huge struggle. Natalie has a very good question. So it is the oversoul made of all the higher selves from all the aspects of us? Yes, all the higher selves and all the souls. An oversoul is going to have angels, is going to have galactics, is going to have elementals, is going to have there are beings that they are like nothing, kind of like how do I say that? Kind of like void, part of the void, or part of the light, or part of the nothingness in the universe. I don't know how they are called, but they are like, there is a state of being where you can be just an element. Probably they are elements. Also, in your oversoul is going to be dark aspects to you. And sometimes if you have a shadow that you are clearing, let's say that you saw a ghost and it's scaring you or meditating, what if that ghost is you from another life that is asking for your light so it can go to the source? What if that entity that represents anger, it is because it was burning a stick because it was a witch in a timeline and is asking for light on you? So I believe, this is my personal, but you guys use a sermon. I think our guides open the door for entities to come, so we benefit them and they benefit us. And probably my benefit is going to be responsible for my energy, to meditate more, to be in my love, to be in my light. I'm going to have a benefit. Otherwise, I would not have that attachment. But that attachment, it has to come from my oversoul because it would not make sense. It's like giving food to someone else's kids. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to take care of my own, right? My kids, my family, my things. I'm not going to be sending money to kids in another country because I don't know them. Our oversoul is huge and it has dark, light, and many things. And actually, when I was in Sirius, I remember, probably I will do that in another video. We were trying to figure out how to understand the matrix, and then we came up with the idea about light language. Light language was a symbology that will represent like one item on the whole technology in the journey of the soul, And then we used to do pyramids. So understand, okay, this life, let's say, it is connected with the life that you had in France, is connected to the life that you had in Egypt, is connected with the Lemuria, with the Atlanteans. And then in all of those lives, let's say that you are learning self-love. So for the next life, what do you need? Okay, so I think I would like to go to Orion, and I think I would like to be a narcissistic. So I learned the other side, or things like that. Does that make sense? And then many beings for all over the galaxy came to kind of like have like an Akashic Records reading into their own codification in your soul. And the dormant aspects we don't remember, it is because they don't serve us for this moment. But as soon as we need them, they get activated one way or another. And this is what we call downloads. Imagine if you can remember every time you have felt sorrow in all the lives. No, right? It will be overwhelming. So we have what we need. We know what we need. We are where we are meant to be. And then whatever happens tomorrow probably is going to be another story. Let me see if I can more questions while I drink a little bit more of. Okay, Natalie Cardin, I hope I am explaining this correctly. Could you tell me if the issues with gums or anything to do with the ascension systems or something else, please? Yes, it has to do with the assumption systems, but at the same time, it has to do with your body asking you to take care more of it. Your body is releasing. I'm seeing like probably you should do a detox and probably like change diet. If you don't do it now, you're gonna be pushed to change diet. But it's something that your body is asking for. It's like trying to drive without gasoline. It feels like your body, you are receiving a lot of light, Natalie, a lot. Yes, yes, that's true. You're receiving a lot of light, but that light needs to have a balanced vessel to be integrated. And that light is going to push the darkness to go out. And sometimes that comes out in pains, in triggers, in a lot of things. And this is what we call ascension symptoms. But that it is because the areas of opportunity we all have to become more crystalline and more crystalline and more crystalline. I hope that helps, and I'm glad you are still here. Please retype your questions if I lose you. Okay, Tiffany asked, I came across an article called Reiki or Spiritual Deceit. They say that Reiki it is demonic. What are your thoughts on that? That is an excellent question. I am myself a Reiki master, but I have stopped practicing since I read that article. Okay, Tiffany, first of all, I think the first lesson for you it is to discern the information that it is being streamed for you, so you choose your own channel. Natalie, I just feel like a higher diet. I don't have any details, but I think drinking more water and I'm seeing more green stuff in your diet. I'm going to go back to the Reiki question. Look, Reiki, I'm a Reiki master too. Sometimes I do still do Reiki attunements. I think Reiki, it is the base for all healing. Reiki, it is hands and healing. It is just source coming through your hands, through the symbology, to recharge of unconditional love to someone else's. That could be long distance or in the physical, right? There are other modalities of healing, but they all are like, I think, it could be upgrades or different expressions of what Reiki is. I think Reiki, it did not start with the Master Usui. I think it started back then, probably in India, probably with Jesus, probably with the yogis, and then he put it together It's okay, Mara, don't worry about it. I think the Master is sweet, put it together in a way that it was digestible. But the ancient Reiki, it wasn't the very light version of Reiki we all learn right now. You had to really practice it, and then people had to give feedback, and then your master had to approve you could go to the next level. Right now you can purchase a $15 course online and then do the attunements online, a lot of things. It's kind of like more light version of it. For me, demons are our own inner battles. And people who are still stuck in the demon timeline, it is kind of like an old new age version of being the good and being the bad, and not seeing that we are all one way or another. There are entities that are the ones who work with the Luciferians that works in the shadows, but it is a choice a soul do to experience those shadows expressions, because it will complete their journey into source again. Because remember, the yin and yang, the balance, it is blending the darkness into the light, and sometimes those shadow aspects are going to provide the challenging experience into the lighter versions. So a soul can evolution, but it's not something that I will invoke because it's not my thing, but they do a job for the system that is a matrix, that is the ascension. They have a job, and for what I know, only the ones who have a contract with them can have those connections. It's not everyone. You cannot be coarse unless you think you can be. But if you don't give your power, they cannot do anything to you. They cannot approach unless it will serve you, and then you use that. But in ancient times, like Druids or like Wicca stuff, and I remember in Egypt, you use dark and light into magic, into spells, into things that you needed to do. Right now, we are more into positive love and light. It's not like my thing going into the shadow, but the shadow aspects that I have, I integrated within me so I can find neutrality. But they are not separated. This is what I think. I don't think Reiki comes from demonic. I think this is people who is close-minded and afraid to open the channel to the beyond, because Reiki, it's pure unconditional love, pure source consciousness. It's life force. It's life that will have animals, plants, humans, everything that you just tune into and runs through you. So I stopped practicing Reiki because I upgraded myself into light language and into other things that it was more suited for me, but not because it was a bad thing. And actually last month I did few Reiki attunements of a client that who asked me to do them. So I think you can ask yourself, Tiffany, would I still want to practice Reiki? Or probably you would like to practice something else, but it's something that you feel like doing it, that you like to do, that you would like to practice. Don't let others to take that power away from you, and that power, it is your choice. If you choose not to do Reiki, so be it. Don't do it, but because it is your choice that came through your own discernment. Discernment it is when I can listen to what it is being streamed for me, and I can find my own judgment in the more neutral way that will serve for my journey. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. But please take what resonates with you and discard the rest, because we need to be sovereign beings. I love that word. I can never pronounce it correctly. Is there a planet with energies that are colors? That's an excellent question, actually. Yes, actually, many. But I think the one that you're asking is called Mintaka. It is a water planet that has kind of like islands on it, like pieces of land. Yes, Sovereign. And this is the one that your guys are saying, like you are seeing, that has colors. It has like slider colors, kind of like the Aurora Boreal in Alaska, and they just blend and collide. And actually, beans of Mintaka, they're kind of like Aurora Borealis too. They're kind of like beans of light, mermaid or amphibian beans that are made of light that merge and change form in a beautiful, beautiful way, and that it is in the star system of Orion. Let me see what other question I have. Thank you so much. Ellie Ruteva asks, is my star family around me already? Yes. Yes, you have Orion family, Ellie. You have Orion family. Yes. Look, every time we talk or think about that, at the energy level is real. If you like someone and you said, oh my God, that's hot, your aura is going to go and kiss that person. If you talk about ghosts, guess what's going to happen? Ghosts are going to say, who are talking to me? Let's go there. If you said, oh, angels, and you're like, oh, they'll start coming. Everything we intend in our mind, in our hearts, in our energy, even before we express it, it's already there. And when I see those things at my third eye, it's open, that is mostly at night or when I do in the session, sometimes I just like, oh my God, I had to just be very aware about my intentions because they are real at the energy level. That's no lie. Yes, Ellie, I coming that your essence is from Orion, but you have Pleiadian, you have Syrian, and you have Dragon. Yes, Dragon family, Polaris, I think. Yes, Polaris. They're like dragon humanoids, and let me see. Sorry about the sounds. Yes, that mermaid aspect comes from Orion, comes from Mintaka. That mermaid aspect that you are connected with. Georgina, let me see. They are just trying to tell you. She asked that she is. Okay, your ear doesn't heal. Do a meditation later, but I think it is because there is something you are not listening to yourself, and it's being manifested in your ear. And it's not that it isn't healing, it is healing, but it's part of the process. It's connected to other timelines, not only in this one. It's like a service you are doing for other aspects of you. Yes, Sandra, you have. You do. Blu-ray. So you can do healing on you with your hands. You can use crystals, oils, whatever, but allow the time that it needs to heal. Sometimes we would like to rush things because they are comfortable, but some circumstances have certain time and processes to be, so they can, but it's going to help you to meditate. Try to catch up with you to see what it is that you are not listening from yourself. Banja, thank you so much for being here. Hope you are doing great. I just need some guidance in relationship to my job situation. Known I'm guiding, I know. I'm guided, just I need a sign. It feels like you are thinking like to quit. I don't know if that it's right, but I feel, Benjal, you are healing something that has to do with your feeling safe and transmuting a lot of energies around that maybe come from envy and insecurity. And if I'm right, like if you are, they want to terminate you. Yes, it is for the highest good. Mm, yes, I feel like it's time for you to, you're going to change a better place, trust. Just have faith. Just have faith. It's all going to work out for you. I have few more minutes. Look, because of the vaccine, I'm so sorry you are going through that, but look, I think the lesson right here it's your sovereignty. You need to choose what you think is best. If you would like to take the vaccine and so you can keep the job, but I think your soul is more drawn that you stay within your own truth and find another job. But this is a reality that I think is happening in Australia where you live. So maybe in the other job, they will ask you to be vaccinated too. It's something that I think is going in the area that you are. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm feeling like this is like an inner lesson you are learning. If you choose to let go and get vaccinated or stand in your own. And whatever you choose is going to be for the highest good because it's not about what you do, it's about how you embrace it. I have clients that they had to be vaccinated because they are doctors or they work in a nursing home or in a government or whatever. And if your mindset, I believe, is right, you don't have to be affected. They want you to take legal actions again. Then go with your intuition. If this is what you feel you should do it. It feels like a yes. It feels like you are learning to speak your truth. And sometimes it's not about what the outcome it is, it's about creating awareness. Sometimes we just need to speak our own truth. And whatever other people decide, it doesn't matter, but just by speaking my truth, it's enough. Let me see if Lily, thank you for being here, Lily. I'm being blessed right now. So much heart energy. Thank you. Can you assist me with information from my team? Future steps? Let me ask Lily. Okay, I'm going to do cards for you. I'm seeing 5 cards, like I'm doing tarot reading. And the first card says change. But it feels like the change is not going to be a drastic change, Lily. It feels like it's going to be more like an adjustment, like finding a better place. Then the second card says mutation. So you are going to adapt into a more balanced version of you. And then in the third card, I'm seeing like an ant. So it says like soul work. So you maybe find yourself doing like a lot of things, like putting like the extra mile, but that is going to be a positive thing because you're going to create foundation for that mutation that you are going to do on yourself. Okay, what it's against you right now? Sensitivity, it says. You're being too sensitive. I don't know if you're being moody or sometimes anxious or sometimes just frustrated. That happened to all of us. So the advice, the ultimate advice, it is keep practicing stillness, be in your heart. I feel like going back to your Buddhist teachings, like being in the now, being still, being in the now, like being mindfulness, being in the present moment. I think that few changes in your daily routine is going to make the whole thing that will happen to you like a whole lot easier. It feels like at the energy level, Lily, like you're changing home, but you're not changing. But your technology is going to change, but for a greater good. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that resonates too. I think I can do 2 more questions. Let me see. Mike? Any message from my guys will be great and appreciated. Mike Hatchard, I think. He does? Okay, thank you. Let me see, Mike. Your energy looks like very galactic to me if you are still here in the live. It looks like kind of like a nebula. If what I'm being shown right now, it is like kind of like a burden of a new star. So a new aspect of your soul is going to come to merge with you, and I think like in 4 months you're going to upgrade yourself. I think your gifts are going to be amplified, Mike, especially your healing abilities. I don't know if you're a healer or not, but I'm seeing like your hands like feeling heat and cold and things, so your healing touch is going to be activated. You are in the right path, you guys said. All it's in divine plan and order. Saying your light is what they close. I hope that helps. Philip. Heyoka. I like that name. Orion family, I feel my soul is Orion. If you feel it, you are. Orions are not only givers, they are very empathic, very sensitive, very good friends. They like to cheer up everyone. They are like pleasers and givers. But at the same time, they are warriors, they are survivors. They have a beautiful, it's kind of like the story of the phoenix, when you have to go yourself in flames and burn in order for you to transmute the old version of you and then transcend into a more magnificent light. This is kind of like what's coming true. And let me see if I can upgrade this. How interesting, Mike. Thank you so much. Your aura, it's beautiful. You have like every rainbow color in your aura. I would say that you are like a rainbow ray. Probably your aura has more lives in the future than in the past. I don't know if you are very much into science, technology, like being smart or like knowledgeable. It feels like your aura is a little bit more crystalline than probably someone who it is more in line with past times. Maria Vasquez and Lena, I'm gonna class with you guys. I'm gonna do a little bit of grounding at the end. Message or I can help. My name causes anxiety. Yes, Mara. Look, anxiety, it is something that it happened to many of us, especially empathic people. We are not immune to anxiety because we feel a lot. And that feeling a lot, it is a good thing. It's not an easy thing, because sometimes there are things you don't like to feel because it's not comfortable. And sometimes that resistance to feel creates like a distortion that ends or either depression or anxiety, or many other illnesses in our mental body that we can have. But the good thing it is that it can be addressed by, first of all, unconditional love, because you are the temple of God and physical. Your vessel, your body, it is a temple that carry God walking, literally. So don't forget to bring unconditional love into yourself. I think self-love, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like 5 cards, and the first one, it is self-love. Self-love, it is why you ask this. That is the reason of the question. And then the second card, it is the hidden reasons why this anxiety is coming up for you. And for many persons, it is being in your center, being in your balance. Yes, being kind of like disconnected from yourself, because when you are strong in yourself, emotions will pass through, you will observe them and not be immune. Like, for example, I had a situation with a person that I dearly love. It's a soul mate in my life, but we had a disagreement, and then it hurt. And that happened, I think, 3 days ago. And then I feel emotional, I feel sad. But that sadness, it was because I was healing that. But my lesson that I am so grateful for it is I had the capacity to keep the balance, the stability, and the loving connection on behalf of both of us. So I heal my wound, but also the other person heal it too. Because sometimes when we unconsciously, we can also hurt others because we are wounded. Does that make sense? So it felt good. It felt good because I felt proud of myself, because I said, oh my God, you have grown. Few months ago, few years ago, I would have created a big deal. Yes. So emotions, sadness, anxiety, depression, loneliness, they have to have a voice within, so we can bring light with kindness, with love, and said, like for example, for myself, I say, Gretel, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel not okay. But then I say, higher self, please come and assist me. I bring light, whatever healing I need to do on myself, but also being kind, so I can find my own neutrality. Yes? And this is what your guys are saying that is going to be the source of action. Listen to yourself. Listen to those emotions when you have anxiety, and then you can put label on them. Because probably the voice is going to say, I feel hurt. I feel upset. I feel betrayed. I feel light. I feel control. I feel restricted. And it's okay. But then acknowledge, okay, why I feel control? Why I feel hurt? And then do something about it. And that is going to be the solution. I had depression the majority of my life, but thank God not anymore. But I needed to connect with myself, be patient with me, and in the worst time of my life, what has been saving me, I think I wrote about it a couple days ago on Facebook, it is self-love. Because if I'm not full in my love and light, I cannot even connect with anyone. I hope that makes sense. So the ultimate solution for the anxiety, it is, first of all, be patient with yourself, be kind, be loving, and then do something. Whatever you feel you should do, so you are in charge of your own happiness, in charge of your own balance, in charge of your own whatever you would like to experience. And I hope that helps. Meditation is going to be basic for all of us, because it is when we pray with God, when we speak with God, the God within, not the God that is outside, the God within, and then we receive a boost, a recharge, like a medicine, like a remedy for whatever is happening to us. Lena, any message for me and my guides? Yes, let me ask. Your aura looks purple. Feel like you're healing. Probably some things with family. Your family, Monette. Whatever is happening in your family, it's part of the process that you're already healing. And I'm asking for guidance. Just give me a second. Stay in your light, say your guys, Lena. They say stay in your light. Don't forget to reclaim your quotation of light always and every day. So every day can get better and better and better. Guys, thank you all for being here. It was a little bit longer than I expected. I'm going to do couple minutes of light language just to ground all of us and say thank you to your guides, to all of you. Oh my God, I have never received that many stars. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bless you. I think I'm going to sing. Aramanashira tarakoro ramanikiera terasera corrina. Taramana koroko trusurukurekiera sera korokurua. These sound like lions. Tan rua resera korokurua. They're helping us to ground. Now the higher self is going to come and speak through the language of the light. Ela ni ete eki esta, isama eki aska te eki ine. I a te eshka, ti eseko, I ete eke eshka. Miana ete koro utu rosoko, ike na iti eke eshka. Miana ike eseko, miana ite eshka. Iseko ite ma. Niaka ite eke eshka ikiye. Please take a deep and cleansing breath. And start by sensing the light from your higher self, going all the way down through your crown, all the way down through your third eye, your throat, anchoring the light, expanding the light in a very gentle way, feeling energized, revitalized, recharged for the rest of the day. And now the light goes down and down all the way through your shoulders, your heart, the plexus, the sacral, the root, then all the way down and down. And waves of light are going to grow throughout your feet, your toes, your ankles, reconnecting you with a new grid of new earth and 5th dimension. It looked like a city made of light. In the ether, lights that are purple, blue, pink, haze of pink, green, and that light has the fledged frequencies that come through Gaia. to the sunlight, to the trees, to the soil beneath your feet, through each living being around you. So breathe the God light that Gaia emanates for you as you grow your roots stronger and stronger, rooting yourself into her chakras, her meridians, her sacred sites throughout the ley lines of New Earth. And as you're coming back into your present moment, feel the back of your head, feel your skin, your back, your chest, your buttock, your feet. Feel the air entering your body. Your lungs feel of love and light. Become more and more aware about where you are, but most importantly, what you would like to become. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, all of you, for being here. Thank you so much for the stars, for the company. I'm going to be doing this service every Saturday for a while to see how it goes. I do have new services in the page. If you feel drawn to any of my services, please go on encodedfrequency.com to see if you feel drawn to any of my services. But don't worry about it. I do have plenty of free services right here. We have meditation 5:55 a.m. and p.m. Pacific time, and do have the free readings every Saturday at 12 Pacific time. And then in YouTube, we have the membership that you can sign up if you feel drawn to. Thank you all for the support. I cannot be more grateful to be here. I love you and I bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.